Hi, so today I'm going to be talking about brushing. So I've got lots of different styles of brushes for different types of dog coats. So basically, almost every single type of dog needs one brush, and that brush is a comb. Now, a comb is great for longer hair, like haircut dogs, like you're gonna get Yorkie, Poodle, Shih Tzu, Schnauzers, Malteses, Bichon Frises, ones like that. They've got the hair that keeps on growing and growing. And we've got, there's two types of brushes you can use for them. So you've got a slicker brush, which has little hooks, and a comb, and that's it. If you use just a comb, that's all you need every day. Give them a quick brush, quick once over, and that's it. The only times you're going to need other devices is when they're already matted. In which case, we've got two different styles of matting combs. We've got this type, which is called a mat breaker, and it'll go in. You go behind the mat and just hook around and pull it out. This one is less dangerous because although there are blades, they're not super sharp, and because of the way the comb is, it's basically impossible to cut the dog. Now we've got a second type, which is great for getting out bigger mats, but it is very dangerous. This is called a dematting comb. It looks like this. It's got a thumb guard here because these are blades. I have cut myself on these a lot of times. Never a dog, only myself. Because what I do is I put my hand in the way. So, mat's here, and I put my hand in behind so that if I'm cutting anything, I cut myself. Very convenient, very dangerous. Most people don't have these. Most people won't ever need them, except for right now, because generally when it gets really bad, you take your dog to the groomer. I also like this for getting into undercoat matting on the double coat breeds, such as, well, these are like the more winter dogs, starting from Golden Retrievers and Australian Shepherds. You can also get the Shelties, so the Shetland Sheepdogs, but also Huskies and German Shepherds, so most of the mixes that are from the reserves around here. So big population of those around here. These are great for getting into the bums and the chests, sometimes tails, but again, that's pretty dangerous. But it really pulls out all that undercoat matting. But again, very dangerous. I wouldn't really recommend starting with one of these. I would say just use a comb. Another one that's really great for those shedding breeds is this guy, which has a few different names. It's a dematting undercoat rake. It's also called a coat wizard or a coat king. And it's really good for getting those sections of slightly longer hair. And it just, it gets loads of the undercoat out. And it also thins it a little. So it's great. They also sell undercoat rakes that aren't dematting, which is what I would recommend to most people, because you're not going to thin out your dog's coat. You can go over pass after pass after pass, and it'll never thin the coat. Whereas if you go over with this type, or even with a Furminator, which, great, but they don't get fully down to the undercoat on most really long-haired dogs. Great for labs, really great for labs. But yeah, so they sell undercoat rakes, which is similar to this, but instead of a hooked blade, it's just straight out. So it's basically like a comb attached to this, but they're thicker and they just really work. But for most dogs, all you need is a comb. I've got loads of different sizes. This one, amazing for faces. It's actually a flea comb, but any metal comb is great. This size, with a fine tooth on this side, coarse on this side, these are pin combs. These are perfect for every dog except for the super short-haired dogs like Boston Terriers, Mastiffs, Bulldogs, Dalmatians, in which case they do sell, the Furminators are okay for them. They're pretty good, but really all you need is like a curry brush, which are great. You just go around in circles. Also good for this type of dog's faces. You just go around in circles, and it feels kind of good. You get a massage. I'm not sure if you can see, but I did get, you can see, you do get quite a bit of hair off, even just these dogs. But yeah, so those are the tools you're going to need. So the tools you're going to need, a comb, and that's it. But sometimes you'll need more. But I think it's time to start showing where to brush and how to brush. So same as for nails, your best bet is going to be to get your dog on a table. For small dogs, that can be kitchen dining room table, a counter, even an ironing board that you put against the wall so they don't, they don't fall off, but nice and high up for them. And for bigger dogs, if you don't, most people won't have a table that they can get on, but really just kind of, if they try to run away, maybe go in the bathroom or something with them, close the door so they can't run away. Yeah, so let's start brushing. Okay, so now that I've got Blueberry actually on the table properly, we're going to talk about the sections of the dog. And we're going to stand up. Good girl. So the hardest sections on, for example, a double-coated dog, so again, the Huskies, the Shelties, Australian Shepherds, are going to be the bum. So all the long sections, really. So the bum, if they've got a tail, the tail, she doesn't have a tail. Up here, this is called the tuck-up. For every dog, even just all dogs. These are really areas that mat up quite a lot. It's mostly just where joints are. On the armpits, the chest, and the belly. Other places are behind the ears, or if you've got long-haired dogs, the whole ear themselves. And then also, if you've got a long-haired dog, the face. So there. On the muzzle, the chin, eyebrows, and other places. If your dog wears a collar or a harness a lot, those are areas that mat up a lot, and those will be key areas to look at. Everyone always starts on the back, but that's the part you need to brush the least, because it is the part that gets the least amount of contact with the ground, the least amount of ruffling up, and that's the easiest to get. So I would leave that to last. Now, places to also think about are the feet. For dogs like this, there's really just the back of the hocks to do, but with other dogs, you have to do everywhere. Now, for dogs like this, the easiest thing to do is start and work in layers. This applies to all types of dogs. I'm just going to put my leg under her so she doesn't sit, because she likes to sit. And you're going to work in layers. Just lift up part of it and brush the part underneath. And if you're not brushing very often, you'll get a lot of hair. I'm getting a little bit as she's shedding. But you're going to want to work in layers throughout the entire dog. This applies to Shih Tzus and everything. Start at the bottom, hold the hair up, and work your way down. Now, here's the thing. If you're splitting apart the hair and you can't see down to the skin, that means that there's matting there. And that means you need to work harder at it. If you can get it with a comb, which you should be able to do, that's your best bet. But if you can't, that's when we switch to the other tools. which I put out of my arm's reach. Now, so I can't show you how to brush a tail because I don't have one to show you, but for my dog, I still have to brush it. So you just get in, hold it back. Always hold the hair back before you brush. And to get the tuck up, the same thing. I'm going to start closer up and work our way through. And it shouldn't hurt them. And if they're crying, they might just be crying because they're babies. And always make sure you've got a garbage or something nearby to put your hair into, otherwise it's going to get everywhere. Well, it'll get everywhere anyway, but less everywhere. Now, for dogs who were having trouble getting into this undercoat, that is where this guy comes in, and we just get in like this, and we brush it as if it's a comb. There's no matting on Blueberry, so I can't really show you. Now, for the Shih Tzu style dogs, I'm just going to call them that because it takes a lot less time than naming all the breeds. You can use a slicker brush, and you're going to go through and brush, and it does a pretty good job, but it will often only get the top coat, which is why you then have to go through with the comb to check that you got everything. If your comb is getting stuck in a place, that means you need to work harder on it. That applies to all dogs. That means there's undercoat, or that means there's tangles, which means we just have to keep brushing and we'll get there. Now, if you're going to use an undercoat rake, they're really useful and you can use them almost anywhere. There is a flap of skin at the tuck up there, which you do have to be careful of, but as long as you're going with the hair, always go with the hair, then you don't really stand any chance of hurting the dog, but you will get lots of hair out. I just got lots. Other areas that we talked about are the belly. Here you can go, because it changes direction around here, and so you can change direction, brush forward and then brush back, and that should get every tangle there. Places to worry about: armpits. They're hard to brush. That is why when I'm grooming your dog, I shave the armpits for most dogs. But get in with the comb. If you have to lift the leg, and then brush towards the chest. And on the arm, we brush down the arm. For the chest, the same thing. We're going to do it in layers. Can you sit for me? Good girl. And we're going to just keep brushing up, holding the hair with this hand, and the head away because she likes to sniff what I'm doing. And just working in layers. Places to worry about are behind the ears, which again, just a comb is good. If you've got little mats, they'll feel like little balls. That's when you can use your mat breaker. Get in. If you can get your fingers in behind the mat, so close to the skin, do that. If not, you're just going to have to work slowly. If it's a bigger mat, start at the edge and move in. So let's pretend we've got a mat here. I'm not just going to start right in the middle. I'm going to start on the edge and just get piece by piece the hairs out. Good girl, thank you. Obviously, we don't have a long face here to brush. Can you turn to face the camera? Good girl. But what you would do is you go, I know I've never brushed your face before, is you go down the side, being careful not to poke the eyes. You go up away for the eyebrows. Another technique is to get along the nose, go right in front of the eyes and go towards the nose. Good girl. And don't forget the chin. Good girl. Again, the areas to concentrate around here, face, where the collar is, and where the harnesses go. Because the harnesses rub and can mat up. It's pretty easy, but it takes some time. Most dogs, you can get away with brushing them 2 to 3 times a week. The really short-haired dogs, like the Bostons, Bulldogs, they don't need to get brushed, but they'll be more comfortable and their skin will be more healthy if you do. All the other types of dogs need to get brushed. Realistically, you should be trying to brush your dog every day, but I know that's not going to happen. I don't brush my dog every day, but if we can brush them a couple times a week, or if their coat's in really good condition, only once a week, then that'll do. And that's really all there is. So work in layers, making sure that you're getting right down to the skin. Work in patches, work your way around the dog. Don't worry so much about the back. We're going to get the bum, the chest, the belly, and around the ears. So that's a big one. So for tails, get your tail that sticks out like this. If you can get it all the hair coming downwards, and then you can just brush in and down, in and down, and that way you should be able to get everything. So I know that right now it's harder than usual to get hold of grooming tools. I know last time I was there, Stedman's did have combs and other tools. I think they're open if you phone them. They do curbside pickup right now. I know that PetSmart does not ship to Geraldton, unfortunately, and Amazon's not shipping everything right now. I'm not too sure what they're doing, but I do know that the supplier that I go through, they do ship to Geraldton. Sometimes they ship dog food and sometimes they don't. I'm not too sure what they're doing with food, but with tools, they always are shipping. Same with shampoos and things like that. And so I think it's free shipping over $65, and before that you have to pay. I'm not too sure. I always order with shampoo, so it's always free for me. But they're called Ren's Pet Depot, RENS. And if you Google them, they'll show up, and they do ship here. So that might be a place to go to get tools if you don't have them already. So if you have any questions, you can text me, Facebook message, leave a message on this video, and I will try my best to answer your questions. And good luck and stay safe.